Hey, what is up, everybody? Welcome to Pop Culture Philosophers. I'm Rockin Robbie Billups, and it's time for the weekly comic book review. That's right, everybody. Thanks for checking out the video. I am Rockin Robbie Billups. This is the weekly comic book review. It's the show where I read a lot of comic books and I let you know what I thought about them. And we always start with the pick of the week. And this week's pick of the week, Robo Wolf, issue number 1 from Dark Horse Comics. Now, this is written and illustrated by Jake Smith. And I'm familiar with Jake Smith's work on a recent Godzilla series that he did. I can't remember the name of the series itself, but I know that you out there in the chat will, so let me know in the comments below. Refresh my mind for me. But I was really impressed with Jake Smith's work in that book. And now Robo Wolf is completely written and illustrated by him, his own concept. It looked cool, it looked rad, and rad is a really great word to use to describe this book, and it was frickin' radically awesome. Let me tell you, this book was so much fun. First of all, Jake Smith's artwork is a revelation. His choice of colors, it very much pops. This is a story about a Robo Wolf, a cyborg humanoid wolf who is trying to hunt down his missing daughter with the help of his new gang, and or his gang of friends. They're criminals. They pull heists off and rob banks and stuff like that. And there's also a lot of villains out there. Great layouts, bombastic storytelling, really fun, very exciting, and a very much a breakneck pace throughout this entire issue. It was wild, it was weird, it was cool, it was different, it was unique, it was exceptionally rad. Robo Wolf, issue number 1. That's your pick of the week. Then we've got Spider-Man and Wolverine, issue number 1 from Marvel Comics. This is written by Mark Guggenheim with artwork by Kari Andrews. And this book was pretty freaking cool. I had a lot of fun with it, right? So there's this like special missing file or something that is going to expose all of the secret agents and all of the secret missions for everybody involved, right? And Wolverine's got to hunt it down, but he needs the help of Spider-Man. And of course, maybe some of the information provided in this file will cause a rift between our two titular heroes, but it's a really fun book. It gets right to the point, gets right to the action. You got some Kraven and some Omega Red in here, so two of the better enemies of each character facing off against Spider-Man and Wolverine. And Andrews on the artwork is absolutely amazing. Like the best of that era, the energy of that era from like Todd McFarlane and Eric Larson, you kind of got that vibe. It's got that flow to it. Kari Andrews is an amazing artist, and he does an exceptionally well done job here, I should say. And Spider-Man Wolverine was fun. I really enjoyed it, and it has a hook at the end that makes me highly intrigued to come back. So it was a really strong debut from Marvel. Another strong debut from Marvel is The Thing, issue number 1. This is written by our buddy Tony Fleece with artwork by... Who is the artist on this book? The artist on this book is Justin Mason. And the art's pretty solid. It gets the job done. But what I really love is the characterization of Ben Grimm. I'm pretty much a lifelong Fantastic Four fan. I've been reading them since I was 5 or 6 years old. I've always been obsessed with these characters, including the ever-loving Blue-Eyed Thing, and Tony Fleece completely understands this character. Now, this is set at some point back in our 80s or 90s due to the costumes of the Fantastic Four, so it's set in the back of continuity, detached from it a little bit, so it can just kind of tell its own story, but an old rival, or an old enemy, I should say, of Ben's from when he was a kid, asks Ben for his help to hunt down, like, I think it's his sister's kid or something like that, like his niece or somebody he knows. Anyway, a missing child. Ben goes out on the hunt. He gets more than he bargained for. The characterization of Ben was great. If you care about stuff like that, definitely do not miss this book. If you're a huge fan of The Thing, you need to check it out. Tony Fleece and company did a really solid job. Then we got The Vision and the Scarlet Witch, issue number 1. It's an issue number 1, but it's just the next issue of Scarlet Witch. This is something Marvel keeps doing. It's very irritating. Every 5 to 6 or so issues, they cancel Scarlet Witch and rebrand it with the new Scarlet Witch number 1, or Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver number 1, or in this case, The Vision and Scarlet Witch number 1. But if you're following Steve Orlando's work on Scarlet Witch, this is the next step. How does it work as a new jumping on point? It works pretty well, honestly, right? It kind of gets you... It doesn't over-explain the current status quo with Wanda and her magic shop and all that, but it does reference that and kind of get you caught up to speed a little bit there. But it does start fresh with a clean, new story involving the Vision. Now, the Vision and Scarlet Witch, they haven't really been together for a while. Some catastrophic stuff happens here. It's going to recontextualize their relationship yet again. I thought the art was pretty solid. I thought the story was pretty solid. It was a decent enough first issue, but it is annoying. Marvel keeps doing this reboot, restart, stop, all that kind of stuff. It's like, but wait, we've all been hollering about that for years. They ain't changing. All right, then we got Hulk and Doctor Strange, issue number 1. It's one of those J. Michael Straczynski team-up or versus one-shots. We've already gotten a few of these. We got a few more to go. Hulk and Doctor Strange was all right. It's decent enough. It's got amazing artwork by Herman Peralta. I really like the artwork. The story is okay. It's recovering and retreading ground that we've seen covered and treaded on before, but it does it in more of a sophomoric kind of way. It's just kind of, I don't know, it's just kind of there. The basic premise is Bruce Banner gets Doctor Strange to help him find out why he's a monster. We've seen this story done so many times. He's like, She-Hulk was the best version of herself after she got gamma radiated. So was Amadeus Cho. And Abomination was a complete douchebag beforehand. Now he's even more of a D-bag, right? And me, am I just some kind of monster? So he gets asked to be sent back in an astral form to the moment of the gamma explosion that caused the incident that turned Bruce Banner into the Hulk. And he thinks that through that he can figure out why he hulks out, and I guess he does, but it's kind of lame and cheesy and dumb. So I didn't really like it that much. But there's a backup story in here that's a Agatha Harkness Aunt May team up, written by J. Michael Straczynski with I think it's Natasha, or what's her name? Bustos, what's her name? Where's the credits? Natasha Bustos. And it's this was a nice little fun, charming kind of backup story. So it was all right, all in all, it was just okay. All right, then we got Ultimates issue number 12. This was a great issue of the Ultimates, ending the first year of Dennis Camp's The Ultimates. We've got 6 more months till the Maker is released from the city, and all hell's gonna break loose. Tony has regained consciousness. The Ultimates gather together in this issue to basically talk about the present, the past, and the future, where we're going with the Ultimates. It's pretty intense stuff. It's really great conversation. And though I say it's just a conversation, it's not boring because it has some major revelations in here, and the conflict between the characters really comes to a head. But at the same time, it takes the series into an interesting direction by the end of this series. Dennis Camp's been doing a hellaciously awesome job with the Ultimates. It continues with issue number 12. Then we got The Amazing Spider-Man issue number 4. 4 issues in, I'm still digging the new Amazing Spider-Man book. It's written by Joe Kelly, so that should be no surprise, but it's Pepe Larraz on the artwork that really makes this book stand out. The basic gist of this book right now is that Peter has been poisoned by psychedelic soda, basically, and he's tripping. He's basically tripping. You got Hobgoblin involved, this character Itsy Bitsy, and it's all tied up with the revelation of this new old friend of Peter's. So lots of flashbacks to that. He's now trying to get a job working along with this old school buddy that we've never heard of until the recent volume. But it works and it fits, and the artwork is super dynamic. It's got the emotional beats down. The action sequences rock. Pepe Larraz rocks. So far, so good on Amazing Spider-Man. Then we got Moon Knight, Fist of Khonshu, issue number 8, and it all starts coming to a head here. There were some major things that have been going down in the world of Moon Knight. Moon Knight is on a path of vengeance, a quest for revenge, and he's taken out some of these people that helped the fall of a certain element of Moon Knight's mission. Get what I'm saying there? Anyway, he's going after them one by one, and this one he goes against this blade that's like possessing this woman who's like holding the blade. It was really freaking cool. This was a great issue. Works as a one-and-done, self-contained story, but at the same time, part of the larger whole, obviously. So, Moon Knight, Fist of Khonshu, Jed MacKay continues to deliver, and Dev Pramanik, the artwork is brilliant in this book, especially the coloring. We were so spoiled with Moon Knight. Then we got Superior Avengers issue number 2, a One World Under Doom tie-in. Doom's son, aka Ward, Kristoff, who I'm quite the fan of, being a lifelong Fantastic Four fan. I'm very familiar with this character. He is back, and since his father now has taken over the world, he goes and looks into the future, into alternate timelines in which Doom's reign has been successful, and he pulls characters, figures from those futures to create his own team of superior Avengers, to be the official Doom Avengers. You've got an Abomination that is actually like a Captain Doom in a way. You got a Lady Dr. Octopus. You got a version of Malekith, Ghost. You got a female Killmonger as the Black Panther. There's a interesting twist with that character towards the end of the book. You got an interesting, super interesting version of Onslaught here. So it's a cool concept. It's an okay book. I wouldn't say it's super solid or nothing like that, but it was definitely intriguing, especially this bit. They're right in the middle chunk of this book. You have Kyle Hotz coming on to do the artwork, to make some more, to show some more revelations of what actually happened in their timeline. Really solid stuff for that part. And then when it's not Kyle Hotz, it's just kind of average at best. But all in all, Superior Avengers is decent. So there you go. Fantastic Four, issue number 32. I did not like the last issue of Fantastic Four. They're trying Doom, in the One World Under Doom story, has cured Ben of being the Thing. But they want Ben to be the Thing again, so they do this dumb thing in the last issue where Reed's idea is to go back in time or to find a world where Ben, I don't know, it's some kind of stupid, weird thing that resulted in the Fantastic Four being wiped out of existence. So this is the aftermath of that. Valeria wakes up in this newly remade, reimagined world where there is no Fantastic Four. They never got their powers, and she's in somebody else's body, and she finds out, like, somebody is intentionally causing misery to this world, and it's related to the family, and it's just dumb. It's just dumb. I didn't like it. Ryan North has had some solid issues. He's had some subpar issues, and he's had issues that just make me just kind of, just a little bit. That was one of those. Then we got Weapon X-Men issue number 4. The penultimate issue. I want this series to come back because this book has been fun, and this is how you tell ongoing X-Men comics, right? The first 3 issues were one story building this new team together: Cable, Deadpool, Wolverine, Chamber, and Thunderbird. It's an exciting mix of personalities. Joe Casey is really handling these personalities really well, and it was a really solid story. And now we go into here, and it's a one-shot, a one-and-done story leading into something that's tied into what happened at the beginning of the series. So this is perfectly crafted as far as the structure goes. Chris Cross's artwork's pretty solid as well, but this is a throwback to some old-school Avengers comics, the return of the Red Ronin, giant mech or whatever, and the Weapon X-Men have to go after it and stop it. It's basically what it is, just big, fun, balls-to-the-wall X-Men action. All right, let's jump over to DC. Let's go ahead and do it. Superman Unlimited issue number 1. It's a new Superman book. Why? Because there's a new Superman movie on the horizon. I'm excited about the movie. Looks good. But now we got a new Superman book because of it. Superman Unlimited issue number 1. Artwork by Raphael Albuquerque. So the artwork is pretty solid. Pretty cool. Stories by Dan Slott. Dan Slott, a storied writer of Amazing Spider-Man for years. There are elements of his Amazing Spider-Man run that I really, really appreciate, including the worldwide era. I really love that stuff. I also love Superior Spider-Man, the original. This one, it's all right, I guess. It's meant to, I get it. It's meant to work as your first Superman comic, letting you know the history of Superman, how it relates to what's currently going on in DC continuity and in the Superman books, ties it all together in a decent enough way. But as an old school, long-time reader, $4.99, I'm reading most of this book, and I'm like, you're just rehashing shit I already know. Give me something new. Now, they do give you something new, and it's rather interesting, and it really raises the stakes for the Superman family, so that's decent enough. It was all right. I'm not trying to shit on the book. It's not bad. It's not a weak comic, but it's not quite what I was wanting from a Superman Unlimited. But then again, I think it understands what its mission is, which is to catch everybody up, maybe lapsed readers or new readers coming in with interest in Superman because of the upcoming movie or something like that. This does set you up. Who is Jonathan Kent? How does Superman have a son? It kind of gives you the cliff notes of the current Superman history timeline in the current continuity of DC. So it gets that job done, and it does set up something interesting. The Emerald Era is what they're calling it. It's all right. It's all right. Then we get Absolute Flash issue number 3. I'm loving Absolute Flash. I know a lot of people were not so into this book because it feels like it's a very slow burn, but in a quick pace. And this issue took me like a minute and a half, 2 minutes tops to read. It just breezes right by like the Flash, right? But I enjoy it. It's an interesting take on Wally West, the Flash. There's a lot of mystery there. We don't really fully get everything yet. The artwork by Nick Robles, I think, is fantastic. I love the showing of the speed. It looks like glitchy or something like that. It's way different than what we're typically used to in a Flash book. It feels haunting, like the character Wally West is a haunted character, and I really like that aspect to the book. I love the interpretation of the origins of the new rogues, including Gorilla Grodd, or Grodd is not really a gorilla. He's this weird-looking monkey thing, kind of almost becomes like a sidekick to Wally, and it's really cute and charming and fun, and even though it's a quick read, even though it's a slow burn, I'm still enjoying the book. Then we got The New Gods, issue number 6. Another fantastic issue of The New Gods, written by Rom V, of course with artwork by Evan Cagle, but for the most part, the art is done by Felipe Andrade, who is Rom V's collaborator on books like Rare Flavors and The Many Deaths of Layla Starr, 2 absolutely amazing books. This is an issue focusing on the aftermath of the death of Light Ray and the Black Racer in particular, who is the embodiment of death in Jack Kirby's Fourth World. I love how Rom V is playing with these characters and these concepts and honoring the legacy of Kirby, but doing something so profoundly and uniquely Rom V. The artwork, too, is amazing. Felipe Andrade's work here is stellar. It is stunning. It is gorgeous. It is no less than what I expect from Andrade's work. But New Gods issue number 6, another banger. All right, then we got Detective Comics here, 1097. A super solid issue of Detective Comics. Tom Taylor is here, along with Lee Garbett, is filling in for Mikkel Hannen on this story. And what it is it's kicking off a new story that is connected to Detective Bullock's past and to his first case. And it's also spinning out of everything that was established and set up and paid off in the first arc of Tom Taylor's Detective Comics run. It's a solid detective story. It's a solid Batman story. It's a solid Gotham story. And I'm really, really finding myself engaged and entranced with what's going on in the pages of Detective Comics. I would say right now, this is my favorite ongoing Batman title. So there you go. Not ongoing, but another one of my favorites is Batman and Robin Year 1, issue number 7. Mark Waid is slaying this book, and so is Chris Samney. And who is the coloring? Mateus Lopez. The coloring is amazing. This is the story of Batman and Robin's first year together in their partnership. It's tied in with all the mafia stuff. It's got Two-Face action, and it's also giving us a little bit of the first days of Clayface, and it does it exceptionally well. It's got a great style, very simple, deceptively simple line work with elegant storytelling and just a masterful touch from both Chris Samney and Mateus Lopez on the artwork and the coloring. Really solid stuff. Batman and Robin Year 1 is a must-read, and it will go down, if they really stick this, and I think they will, as one of those perennial Batman favorites, up there with books like, I don't know, Long Halloween, Dark Victory, Year 1, things like that. Then we got Batman Superman World's Finest, issue number 39. This is the 4th part of We Are Yesterday, which is Mark Waid's crossover between World's Finest and Justice League Unlimited, and I'm kind of bored with it already. Justice League Unlimited starts a big, bold, new, daring vision for the Justice League. Maybe not so daring, maybe not so bold, but cool. I'm really into it, right? They set up this idea of Inferno, this group that is just wrecking the Justice League. Turns out the reveal is that the Inferno group is just the Legion of Doom from back in the past. Back in the days World's Finest, because it's set in the past, right? So they have been gathered from the past into the future. They are Inferno. That's cool. That's a cool idea. But the story just feels silly right now, and it kind of undercuts the intensity of that first arc of Justice League Unlimited a little bit, in my opinion. I don't really like this idea of this crossover with World's Finest anymore, because they keep going into the past, they go into the future, it goes back and forth, and it just comes across as okay, but not like it deserves to completely interrupt the momentum of establishing a brand new Justice League title. Like, the second story arc has to cross over with World's Finest just to goose the numbers on this book. I think that's a little bit whack. I didn't really like this issue. Then we got Nightwing issue 126. I really think that writer Dan Watters is really coming into his own in the world of Bloodhaven. You got Francisco Francavilla on the artwork. I love his choice of color. I love his graphic design. This was a conclusion to a little two-part story after the first big art with the regular artist Dexter Soy. But Francisco Francavilla, even though he has a different style than Dexter Soy, it really works for this story in particular. There is a ghostly type figure that is avenging the death of cops. What is it? It's kind of like a Scooby-Doo episode just a little bit, but it's fun, and it really does spotlight, oh, what's her name? She was the commissioner of, what's her, Maggie? Is it Maggie? Tell me her name. Maggie Sawyer. Yeah, of course, it's Maggie Sawyer. Anyway, so a little bit of a spotlight on Maggie Sawyer and Dick Grayson, and there's some things happening in Bloodhaven, and I didn't think Dan Watters would be the strongest writer for this title, for this character, but he's definitely proving me wrong. Let's say that. Then we got Wonder Woman issue number 21. It's a decent enough issue of Wonder Woman. Tom King's finished his big story. He's setting up for what's to come next. But in the meantime, we get this little story, two-parter with Gilliam March. There's the death of one of the Olympian gods, and Batman and Wonder Woman have to go investigate with the timetable, or Zeus gets Batman's soul, right? I didn't really like the first issue that much, but the second issue was a pretty decent payoff. It was all right. Tom King playing with some ideas about these gods that haven't been played with before, but he does it in his own way. Gilliam March is solid here as the artist, but it's very interesting to choose him to do a panel to do a story that is mostly a 9-panel grid. That's very much a constricted type structure for Gilliam's typical artwork and what makes his artwork really shine, but he does attempt to get the job done. I thought it was a satisfying conclusion to an underwhelming story overall. Then we got DC Sonic the Hedgehog issue number 3. This book's just fun. I love this book, right? So the DC Justice League wind up in the Sonic universe, and then the Sonic universe gets destroyed through the power of Darkseid, and the only people that survive and make it back to the DC universe proper are the Sonic characters. So now they have to fill in for the Justice League. You got Knuckles filling in for Superman. You got Sonic as the Flash, Shadow as Batman, Tails as Cyborg, Silver as Green Lantern, this chick as Wonder Woman. I don't remember her name. I'm not the biggest Sonic fan, but this book still works for me. So if you're a Sonic fan and you're a DC fan, definitely check this one out. It's a must-read. It's just fun. It's not trying to overreach or do anything that it's not designed to do in its initial concept alone. Then we got Batman, issue 617, part of Batman Hush, foil edition facsimile or a regular edition facsimile. If you missed out on having Hush in the original issues and you want it, check it out here. We're going through this issue by issue right now on Rockin Robbie Live and DC and the Oddies. Let's jump over to Image. And from Image Comics, we have The Curse of Sherlee Johnson, issue number 1. This is part of the Spawn universe, right? And this is written by Danielle Henriquez and Jonathan Glapion on the artwork. And first of all, the artwork is awesome. The artwork is absolutely fantastic, and what I love about Spawn artwork: gritty, textured, dark, cool layouts, and just a fun, visually appealing book. But what's the story about? Well, the story is about Sherlee Johnson, who was one of the victims of Billy Kincaid back in the infamous Spawn issue number 5, which is a pretty gnarly comic. And I remember reading that when I was a kid, and it impressed itself upon me. Let's just say that, right? And so much so to everybody that a lot of Spawn lore still kind of hinges on that one story, on that one bit, right? So Sherlee Johnson was one of the victims of Billy Kincaid, and this is the story of what happens to her after she's murdered by him. So she's like a 7, 8-year-old murdered. She wakes up in hell. She's got clown makeup on her face. She meets this stranger dude. She doesn't know what's going on. Neither do we. But you know what? They're just trying to make the best out of it. But the artwork was cool. The story was intriguing. And I love the throwback and connection to classic Spawn lore. That even if you haven't been reading Spawn since 1993, you can pick this book up and you'll be like, oh, I get it. That's awesome. And like I said, artwork's pretty solid. Then we got Sleep issue number 1, a new one from Xander Cannon. I was rather excited to check this one out, and I wouldn't say I was disappointed, but it didn't quite deliver enough intrigue to really fully captivate me. It was interesting enough, though. It's about this dude in a small town. It feels very slice of life. I think it's a personal story for Xander Cannon. I think it's something like that. he goes to his church, an old friend shows up, he's singing, they go out, they're just talking. Then there's this weird thing where he sees this like thread. The color red is very important, it's utilized in a very effective way in this book. And then the book kind of gets to a point where it ends. And it doesn't really deliver a good, solid, substantial hook for me, but the way the story was told, the personal approach to this story, the smallness of it, and some of the intriguing elements that do happen towards the end, and the visualness of the story, the way the story is told visually, is captivating. I'm very intrigued by this book, but I wouldn't say that it's completely won me over yet. So this one, I am still on the fence for. Then we got Bug Wars issue number 4. This is my favorite issue of Bug Wars yet. Bug Wars is an interesting story about this kid who gets shrunk down to bug size, and it turns out that in his yard is this like Game of Thrones fantasy operatic type thing going on, right? You got the beetle people and you got the spider people and all this kind of stuff, and it's Game of Thrones meets Honey, I Shrunk the Kid. And the concept is cool, but Jason Aaron hasn't really fully won me over yet till issue number 4. And this one, our main character has to, along with the help of one of the spider people, has to make it across the yard, a very treacherous journey. It's got shades of Lords of the Ring, but it's funny and irreverent at the same time. It's got that Jason Aaron touch to it. And issue number 4, like I said, my favorite issue yet, so I think it's really winning me over here. Then we got Moonshine Bigfoot issue number 2. It's like Dukes of Hazzard meets Bigfoot. That's basically what it is. This Moonshine Bigfoot is about a Bigfoot who does moonshine, and he's running from the law all the time. It's fun. It's got a silly approach to it. It involves science fiction elements as well, and other kinds of cryptozoological things, and even ghosts are involved. There's a lot of elements at play here. It could come across as rather chaotic, but it doesn't. It's got this nice charm to it, this irreverent sense of fun. Like I said, Dukes of Hazzard, but with a Bigfoot. That's the vibe you get. It's not a book that takes itself too seriously, except for they're seriously trying to make a fun comic. So far, 2 issues in, they're succeeding. All right, then we got Redcoat, issue number 12, from Ghost Machine. I love that wraparound cover. Redcoat was the book out of all the unnamed books within Ghost Machine. It was the one that I wasn't sold on at first. But in the last half year, Redcoat's become one of my favorite comics. I have so much fun with this. Redcoat is an immortal being from the Revolutionary War era. He was a British soldier, but he's just not a good guy. His name's Simon Pure, and he says, "Oh, like, but I'm anything but pure," or something like that. Anyway, so he is now on a mission during the Civil War time. He is trying to, he's on a mission, he's not on a mission, he's been paid to give information to the Confederate generals about the Union Army's movements. Then this mysterious character called the Northerner has showed up, seemingly with high-tech advanced weaponry, possibly from the future. He shows up and says, "You cannot complete your mission or you will wreck the future of America. If you wreck the future of America, you wreck your life." And very intriguing. It's been a slow build-up into the Northerner finally making his appearance fully here, but he does, and now that he does, this story's intrigue level has really jumped to maximum levels. I'm a sucker for American history. I'm a sucker for great comic books. I'm a sucker for Jeff Johns and Brian Hitch and great paced comic book action, and that's what you get in the pages of Redcoat. Clever, witty, fun, with charm. All right, another Spawn book this week. We got Medieval Spawn issue number 2. It's okay. Medieval Spawn is just one of those run-of-the-mill, mediocre, C-level Spawn books. It's a 4-issue series, I believe. It's just a mission of Medieval Spawn back in the day. It's not super important or anything like that, but Medieval Spawn is an interesting character and has been since the earliest days of Spawn, so it's always cool to understand and see more about that character. I wish the art could be a little bit more solid. Like, if you compare the art in Sherlee Johnson to this, that's the difference, right? This looks a little too plasticky, maybe a little bit too just generic, but Sherlee Johnson's art, that's what I want Spawn artwork to look like. That, to me, is top-notch. Let's just get Jonathan to do Spawn. Though I do love Brett Booth on Spawn too, so maybe he could take over something like Gunslinger or something like that. I think Gunslinger could use some more gritty artwork. But Medieval Spawn issue number 2 is just all right. Oh, and I forgot to say, Redcoat gets the smell of the week. Ghost Machine comics always have a great scent to them, and this book sounds like, or smells like, urgency within American history. So there you go. All right, from Dynamite, we got Darkwing Duck, issue number 4 by Daniel Kibblesmith. What a fantastic book and run this has been so far. Daniel Kibblesmith is trying to emulate the vibe and flavor of the show, where each issue is like an episode of the show focusing in on a different villain. In this issue, it's 2 villains. You got Quackerjack, who's teaming up with a villain who I never remember his name, but he's the dude who can talk to ants or something. I don't even know if I even remember that dude, to be honest with you. But Quackerjack, I do remember. So Quackerjack and this dude, they create a trap for Darkwing Duck that involves like an arcade or something like that. And it's just fun, silly hijinks. That's what it is. Daniel Kibblesmith understands the mission statement of a Darkwing Duck comic book. I also love the idea that he is taking that episodic approach, but at the same time, it is all set in the earlier days of Darkwing Duck, so it's kind of like Darkwing Duck Year 1, almost, just a little bit. Not quite, but a little bit. So Darkwing Duck fans, rejoice. Let's get dangerous with issue number 4. Then we got Vampirella issue number 2 out this week. Christopher Priest has been doing a long run on Vampirella, and I've been in and out of it. I've not read it all the way through consistently. So every time I start trying to read a Vampirella relaunch, I do get confused when it's part of the ongoing Christopher Priest story. So I did not read this, but I want to spotlight my boy Mark Spears' cover, an homage to the famous J. Scott Campbell Mary Jane Amazing Spider-Man cover. That's great. Another great cover I want to highlight is by, I think it's Elias Chatzudis. I love that cover for obvious reasons. I love this cover for obvious reasons. You know what? I don't know if we've ever done this, but we're doing it. Co-covers of the week. Both Vampirella issue number 2. 1, 2, 2 covers of the week. Eat your heart out. There you go. From Mad Cave Studios, we have Whatever Happened to Crimson Justice by Frank Thierry and Inaki Miranda on the artwork, one of the Miranda brothers. So I didn't even realize that when I was first watching it. That's pretty cool. This was an interesting book that is something that we have seen before, but I like the execution of this run. I liked the story. I liked the pace of it. Crimson Justice is a Batman vigilante type figure who has retired. Nobody knows why. And the story centers on this bartender and this dude talking to him, and they're like, whatever happened to Crimson Justice? Turns out, Crimson Justice is still there. He's just retired. He has to get pulled out of retirement because his old nemesis seemingly comes back from the dead. So think Batman in retirement, Joker comes back. It's like, I guess that Dark Knight Returns a little bit, isn't it? That's a little bit like Dark Knight Returns. However, in Dark Knight Returns, Joker's return came after Batman's return. So what if you flipped that script? What if Joker came back first and forced Batman out of retirement? That's kind of the gist of this book. I liked the art, I liked the story, I liked the pace, I liked the execution, I liked the characterizations, and it kept me guessing just enough. Even though certain elements were obvious in the plot, it still worked, and I enjoyed it. So I'll be back for issue number 2. From IDW, we have... let me talk. We have Mothra, Queen of the Monsters. I almost wanted to say Monster, Queen of the Mothras. Anyway, Mothra, Queen of the Monsters. This is issue number 3. This book's been great. Issue number 1 made the pick of the week. Issue number 2 was super solid as well. Issue number 3 continues that momentum. So it's about these 2 women who are kind of like the caretakers of Mothra. Mothra shows up in the first issue in a big attack from another kaiju. She dies. They have to go back into the past, find the Mothra egg. It hatches. It's now in its larval state. They have to get it in its cocoon state and then become Mothra again with the help of all these fictional or these fairy beings. And it jumps in time. It goes into the past, into the present, into the future. I love the frickin' artwork so much. It is so solid. The artwork is by Matt Frank, and there's a few pages by Sophie Campbell, who is the writer. And y'all, I'm going to tell you, this book slaps. This book is so much fun. It's exciting, and I try to read Godzilla comics, right? And for the most part, I get into it, then I fall out, right? But War on Humanity, Godzilla War on Humanity, that was the Jake Smith comic, the Godzilla comic where I first saw his work. Yeah. War on Humanity. Or War for Humanity? War something Humanity. Anyway, Mothra, Queen of the Monsters. Oh, that's what I was saying. So, in recent times, though, the Godzilla books have really been captivating me and compelling me to stick with them. And that's something they don't typically do. Mothra is one of those books. Even though it's not really a Godzilla book, it's in that world. It's super freaking awesome. And the future is so bright for Godzilla at IDW. Mothra's going to have to start wearing shades. That was a bad joke. Then we got Out of Alcatraz, issue number 3 from Oni Press, written by Christopher Cantwell with artwork by Tyler Crook. We all know Tyler Crook does amazing artwork. It happens here. It's about these 2 guys, 3 guys actually, who escape from Alcatraz. One of them dies, who's the brother of one of the other escapees, and they wind up trying to work for this chick who wants them to pull a job for them, but their journey has gotten complicated. There's these 2 agents that are after them, even though they keep getting discouraged from doing so. Lots of conflict amongst the different characters. Oh, and by the way, that brother who they think is dead is not dead, and he's out on a mission of revenge. So lots of different moving pieces. It's got a nice flow to it. I think Christopher Cantwell does a really solid job with this story, and Tyler Crook is just amazing as an artist. All right, also from Dark Horse Comics, we have Vatican City issue number 2, the second of 3 giant-sized issues from Mark Miller and artist Per Berg. The art is not quite for me. I don't think it's quite working for this story. And the story is decent enough, but it's starting to lose my attention here in this oversized issue number 2. The story is about vampires, and their queen is buried underneath the Vatican. So they start taking out the rest of the world. They siege the Vatican, and they're trying to get in there and resurrect their queen. So this is about the last bastion of humanity in Vatican City, trying to fight off these vampires and figure out what's going on. It's aight. It's aight. But it doesn't have... There's something missing. Some Mark Miller magic that's missing. And there's missing Mark Miller magic in Vatican City. In Vitamin City! Alright. And then real quick from Keen Spot, how about Mark Spears Monsters, issue number 1. 5th printing. And so if you missed it, you got another chance, and that's a really cool cover from my boy Mark. And also, there is a retailer incentive, a 1 in 20, that I forgot to grab and bring it, but it is dope. In fact, I forgot about that cover. Forget what I said about the Vampirella books. That cover right there, the 1 in 20 incentive from Mark Spears Monsters, number 1, 5th printing, is the cover of the week. It is an homage to Evil Dead 2, the VHS poster art. I freaking love it. And in the credits below, you'll see my name. Now, it's not getting the cover of the week because of that. It's getting the cover of the week because how striking it looks. I wish I would have remembered to bring it here. But we separate our incentives out from the regular books, and I just didn't even think about it. And I should have. That's the cover of the week. Yeah. Alright, so to recap, if you missed Mark Spears Monsters, you got another chance, a 5th chance to get issue number 1. Vatican City slowed down for me this issue. Out of Alcatraz, amazing artwork and a really solid story. Mothra, Queen of the Monsters, is engaging and captivating and exciting as hell. Whatever Happened to the Crimson Justice is a story that we've seen before, but I like the way that it's told. I didn't mind it. 2 great covers for Vampirella, one from Mark Spears, one from Elias Chadizudis. I really love these covers. These are co-runner-ups to the cover of the week. Let's just say that. Darkwing Duck. If you love Darkwing Duck, you need to read that book. Medieval Spawn is just kind of okay. Redcoat was great, and it gets the smell of the week. Moonshine Bigfoot is fun as hell. Exactly what it needs to be. This was the best issue of Bug Wars yet, in my opinion. Sleep was slightly intriguing, but not quite intriguing enough. I need to read issue number 2 to fully let you know what I feel about that book. Curse of Sherlee Johnson was a great tie-in to old school classic Spawn lore with really great gritty, what I want out of Spawn artwork. Batman 617, another Hush facsimile in foil edition no less if you want it. DC Sonic is just ridiculously awesome. Wonder Woman was a decent follow-up or a decent ending to a subpar story. Then we got Nightwing issue 126. Dan Waters really coming into his own on this book. Batman Superman World's Finest. I hate this distraction from what was already so cool and big and built up in Justice League Unlimited. I feel like this is weakening momentum on that series. Batman and Robin Year 1, though, continues to strengthen and just deliver. Detective Comics is the best ongoing Batman book right now. Then we've got The New Gods, Felipe Andrade on most of the artwork here, and it is stunning. It is gorgeous, and the themes that Ram V is playing with are exceptional. Absolute Flash, issue number 3. Of Quickly paced, slow burn, but still just for me. I like this take on the world of The Flash. Superman Unlimited maybe spends too much time trying to catch everybody up instead of building up something new and exciting, but it does have something new and exciting in it, so it's kind of a mixed bag for me, so we'll see how it irons out in issue number 2. Then we got Weapon X-Men. This is how you do an ongoing X-Men book. Unfortunately, it's not ongoing. All right, then we got Fantastic Four. This was a whack issue of Fantastic Four I did not like. I'm not ashamed to admit that. Superior Avengers issue number 2. Really great when Kyle Hotz is on it. When he's not, it just kind of becomes a mediocre, bland book. Moon Knight, Fist of Khonshu was amazing again, especially in issue number 8. Amazing Spider-Man, 4 issues through. It's been captivating me. It's been thrilling me with that artwork by Pepe Larraz. Ultimates, issue number 12, ending the first year of the Ultimates in stellar fashion and setting up what's going to be a hectic second year. Hulk and Doctor Strange, J. Michael Straczynski maybe being a little bit too tongue-in-cheek with this one, a little too thin of stories here. Didn't have a lot of meat to the bone, but it was okay. Then we got Vision and the Scarlet Witch, yet another restart of the Scarlet Witch book from Steve Orlando. So if you've already been reading that one, this is the next step. If you haven't been reading that one, you might want to check this one out. It's decent. It's a good enough start. Then we got The Thing, which was a really solid beginning from Tony Fleece, who completely understands the character of Benjamin J. Grimm. What a revolting development. All right, then we got Spider-Man and Wolverine, issue number 1 from Guggenheim and Andrews. I had so much fun with this book. I really, really enjoyed it. The art was amazing. The story was cool. Old school vibe to it. Really going to scratch that Marvel fanboy inside of you. But the pick of the week is Robo Wolf, issue number 1 from Jake Smith, who was the artist of Godzilla, War Against Humanity, War on Humanity, War for Humanity, something like that. Really love the artwork in this book. Really love this character of Robo Wolf. He is a cyborg. He's a cyborg wolf, humanoid wolf, out on a mission to find his kidnapped daughter. Old school, 80s, 90s. It's rad. Colors are great. Action frickin' pops. The designs, it's detailed. It's got a lot of grit. It's not grit. It's got a lot of like detail to it though. But it still doesn't feel cluttered and clunky. So really cool stuff. I loved Robo Wolf. That's what I read. That's what I thought. That's what I'm digging. What are you reading? What are you thinking? What are you digging? Let us know in the comments down below. Thank you so much for checking out the video. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe, and join us over at patreon.com/PCP if you want to help support the channel. I've been Rockin Robbie Billups. Thanks for rocking with us. Keep on reading. Station. Pop, pop. Boom!